to my free card class here on YouTube. We are going to be using the Floral Delight Suite. If you're not familiar with the Floral Delight Suite, it is in the, I could flip it back close, the mini catalog, the January to April mini catalog. I hope I'm not sideways. Nope, looks like I'm right side up. Hold on, let me fixed. There we go. So this is the January to April mini catalog, and this is the Floral Delight Suite. This is the Delightful Wishes bundle, which is part of the suite. This beautiful paper. We're going to be using elements from this suite and other things. On my stand is in the way. That's fine. And a fork. We're going to be using a fork as well. I am so serious. We're going to be using that fork to tie a bow, but we're going to be using elements from this suite to be making 4 cards today. So let's get right, and I want to get right into crafting. If you need a mini catalog and you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would be happy to send you one. You can comment here on this video and I will reach out to you. Or you can email me at sarah@sassypapercrafts.com. Okay, let's get into card number 1. I'll show you the card first. This is card number 1. Hopefully my sound's working. I'm just going to double check really quick. It is working. Okay. This is card number 1. Super cute. It's kind of simple. We're going to do a bit of stamping. So let's get our stamps ready first. We'll move the die set out of the way. We're going to do a little die cutting as well. For the big wishing, you're going to need that for this card, but you'll need an e-block for the stamp set. If you don't have an e-block, that is an e-block. I'm going to be using that for one of the flowers. So we're going to need both of our flowers. You can use a D-block as well for those. But if you can see that wishing, it just doesn't fit on that. Like it just hangs off. So you want an e-block if you're using that one. We're also going to need the happy birthday, which I am going to put on that H block. Our leaves. And the branch. That's why I'm putting that on an E block. Make sure I'm zoomed in enough. Oops, that's too much. Sorry if I'm making your motion sick. I guess that's as much as we're getting. It's too much zoom. We're only using 3 colors for all 4 cards. So for all 4 cards, we're going to have Old Olive, Daffodil Delight, and Pecan Pie. All 4 cards use only 3 colors. So I'm going to have those over to the side as well. And I have my card base ready to go. I'm just going to set that to the side. This little piece here is what we're going to be stamping on. All the measurements and everything are in the card tutorial, which you can get for free, as well as the supplies I'm using that aren't a part of the suite. So anything stamped, I can't send stamped images. The die cuts that are a part of the suite don't come in the kit, but the card bases, the card stock that you need to stamp on, those come in the kit. And you earn that free with a $50 order in my online store. So let's get our ink pads ready. My Old Olive and Daffodil Delight. Be sure to use that host code when placing your orders as well, so I know that you would like this kit. So we're going to start first. I found it easiest to do the flowers first, then the branch, then the leaves. So this solid one here is our base for our flowers. Hello, Renee. And so we're going to use this one first. We're going to go into the Daffodil Delight. And there's a little, I call it a V flower. There's a little V flower at the top. I'm going to make sure that is at the top. So I'm going to ink up the Daffodil Delight. And then I'm going to stamp off onto my grid paper just one time. And then I'll go onto that basic white. Just like that. Just gives us a lighter color. Then I'm going to take that detail stamp, ink it up in the Daffodil Delight. And try my best to line it up and not put my whole head in the camera. E-block is just slightly cloudy, so it's a little bit hard for me to see. But that looks pretty good. And you know what? It is a handmade card, so perfection is not what we're going for. So now I'm going to take the branch here, and I'm going to ink that up in the pecan pie, pecan, whatever you say. And I'm kind of lining up that top flower with this bottom flower here, because that little branch, I want to go there. Again, I might have to stand for this. Are you a sit-down crafter or a stand-up crafter? Because I'm normally a sit-down crafter, but it's really hard to kind of see and not put my whole head in the camera. So now we can go in with Old Olive and our leaves, and I just kind of went a little random. Like there, I did one. Turn it. And then one down here maybe. Looks good to me. And then on a separate piece of scrap, which I don't have, I do right here though, we'll do our sentiment and just do the you a happy birthday. We're going to do that in Daffodil Delight. Ink that up. No, that might not be big enough. I apparently did not get this scrap piece ready. That one's bigger. We'll do this one. I always have scrap of basic white just off the side of my desk because it's the ones I use the most. My colors, I have in an accordion folder, but these ones I always have off to the side. I already die cut and assembled the wishing. My tip for this one is just keep track of your dots for your eyes. So I don't know if you see that there, but I have 2 dots. I lost one, so I had to kind of finagle my own there. So try to keep track. They usually stick in the die pretty well, but mine for some reason didn't. So I'm going to close these inks up so I don't put my whole hand in it. And then I'm going to die cut out our you a happy birthday. And the dies went right here. So this die set, I can show you this too, is so cool. There's so many different elements. We're going to use this guy here for our sentiment, but there are so many different elements that cut out the flowers. You can make paper flowers that cut out the words. I used both of them for the words. This cuts out little elements in the back of your card. It's really cool. I just love this die set so much. I can see me using it for so many different things. I'm going to use the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now, I recommend if you don't have like die cutting or embossing machine, I do recommend the standard size only because then there's no guesswork. You don't have to go, oh, does this fit? Does everything fit? Everything fits in the standard size. The mini, not everything fits. So I'm going to also take a little piece of washi tape and just stick it to the die because I don't want it to move. And my die is a tad bit warped. I have been using this set a lot. So I'm just going to stick that down like that. And now my die shouldn't move around a ton. That looks good. And we're just going to run it through. If you ever get stuck, like doesn't want to go through your machine, stop. That means something is up. Set that to the side and just put that over here. And carefully, sometimes the washi tape is stronger than I think it is, and it rips my sentiment, but this time it didn't, so yay. Put my die back, otherwise I lose it. I don't know about you guys, but if I don't put it back where it goes, I'll never find it again. I'm going to clean off my stamps really quickly because we're going to need stamps for our other 3 cards. So I just want to make sure I don't get my fingers all inky. I already have Stampin' Mist on this side, and this is my favorite way to clean my stamps. It's so quick and easy. You just scrub this side, and then you dry them on this side, and they're ready to go. So now let's assemble our card. I will move these stamps out of the way. We do need a little bow. So I'm going to take some of the Daffodil Delight Satin Ribbon. And you'll get a free roll of this ribbon with a $50 order in my online store. And this is where the fork comes in. I'm just going to cut some of that off. More than I need. I know I don't need that much. What I do is I like to make a V almost, or like a greater than symbol or less than. I'm not good at math. So then you take the bottom piece, tuck it through that middle prong of the fork, pull, and then go up and over. Make sure this stays. Oh, see, I didn't do that right because I'm talking and not doing. I lied. You take the bottom part and go over, making this the new bottom part. Pull it through so it looks like this. Then you pull this back through. And you have a bow and you just tie a knot. And sometimes my fingers can tie a knot and sometimes they can't. And today they can, yay. So while it's still on the fork, I like to kind of finagle the tails here. And I like to pull them down and make sure they stay that way. And then you can take this off of your fork and you have a little bow. So I'm just going to trim the tails. Again, I know it's a little bit wasteful. I've never used a roller ribbon in my life, you guys. Even doing things like this. Never used a whole roll. Move that to the side and get our panels. Again, all the measurements for these are in the PDF that you will receive with a $50 order in my online store. And I'll also send you the supplies to make all 4 cards. You're going to need that, and then our card base. I'll put our designer series paper. This is that Floral Delight designer series paper from the suite, which is not included in the kit. I just want to make that clear. Anything that's from the Floral Delight Suite is not included in the kit except for the Daffodil Delight Ribbon if you place a $50 order. So I'll put some dimensionals on the back of here, and I'm going to need mini dimensionals for our sentiment there. And don't forget the insides. For these cards, did not decorate any of the insides. You will get a piece of basic white for the insides, very vanilla, but you'll get a piece of basic white for the insides. For the sake of time, we're just not going to worry about those today. You can decorate them however you want. You put a piece of designer series paper on them or stamp them. Now for our words here, if my glue would come, sometimes it gets a little clogged. We're going to use liquid glue though, because it's smaller and easier to use on details like this. I have to take my paper piercer. It's a little bit clogged. Oopsie, there it goes. I just took the end of my paper piercer and stuck it in the hole there. Now I'm not getting the W or the G because that is going to hang off of this panel a little bit. And I don't want random glue. So I'm going to about right where that line connects with the G. And I'm not getting the top of the H either. See how that hangs off? Now push it down like that. You can get a glue dot for our little bow we made. And if you're watching live or the replay, let me know where you're watching from. I love to say hello to you guys. I am in Saginaw, Michigan, which it's finally starting to feel like spring here. It's supposed to be 60 tomorrow. So 3 little dimensionals on those. And I'm going to just stick this, oops, I stuck it to my grid paper. Stick this bow into 2 the branch there, and that piece is kind of sticking up. So I'm gonna hold it down a little. And that goes just like that over the top. We're not done yet though, because I always add bling. I gotta add bling. I'm gonna use some of the opal round assortments. The embellishments for these cards are also not included in that free card kit. But you can use whatever embellishments you have. I'm just going to kind of randomly, oops, I got a little glue or something on there. So that is card number 1. So let's move on to card number 2. I'm just going to set this aside. Card number 2 is very cute. It's this one here. And we are going to be doing a little bit of die cutting for it. I did do some die cutting already, but I'm going to show you the smaller die cut. I think, maybe not. Maybe I already did it. I did already do it. I lost it over here. There it is. Okay, so we're going to do a bit of stamping, and then I have our paper here. Let's put that down first, just so I don't lose it and I know where it is. You can use any of the designs in the Floral Delight Suite paper. And that goes right flush to the top, I think. Yeah. We're going to do it flush to the top. This one I did leave a little bit of space. And then we're going to stamp in Pecan Pie. Need to switch out some stamps. We're going to need Lots of Love. I didn't use the Wishing for this one. I just thought Lots of Love. I'm like, that's a statement all in itself. And that's really the only stamping except for our leaves. We are stamping the leaves. So I just did the Lots of Love. I want to make sure I have this right because one side is longer than the other. Nope, it goes like that. Okay. And we're going to stamp that kind of down in that bottom right-hand corner. Then I'll need, the old olive here in a second. We're going to put these together first. Now, when you get your die cut, sometimes, where my paper piercer goes, you get little pieces stuck in there. Hello, Charlene. You get little pieces stuck in there, just poke them out. I just like to poke up. That's very relaxing sometimes, especially if you had a hard day. Poke them out. Now, for this piece, I did use an adhesive sheet. So we can just peel it off like a sticker. And sometimes those little pieces will even come out with that when you peel it off. And then to line it up, I just kind of eyeballed it. I don't know. This piece hangs off a little bit. I'm not sure how it's supposed to go. But I just kind of like, I don't know. I just turned everything around, and however I liked it is really what I did to line it up. Like, I think I kind of like that. And then this little piece here with a bigger piece just went in the middle. Hello, Betty. I just, a little bit of liquid glue. Stick that down the middle. And sometimes I like to take a clear block and just let that sit there for a minute while we do the small flower. Now that little pecan pie piece for the small flower, that's not really for the small flower. It's for like a medium flower, but I liked it. So we did that. And again, I don't know if that's the right way or not, but I feel like with card making, there is no right or wrong way. You just do what you like. Sometimes I like to stick things to my grid paper. And that went a smidgen off. There we go. And then we'll take and do that while I put the top on my liquid glue. The yellow in this, the Daffodil Delight, it is a beautiful yellow. Charlene, you're absolutely right. I'm going to grab a dimensional. I have both the mini and the regular size dimensionals. We're going to put a regular size one on that. For this one, I didn't pop them up. But I think it needs a little something. So you don't have to pop them. If you like them flat like that, that's perfectly fine. Now we have to stamp our leaves though. So I did 3. I did 2 for the big flower and 1 for the little one. I already have my stamp ready to go over here. And what I like to do is I just kind of throw it on there. I didn't undo the dimensional backing yet, but just to kind of eyeball where that's going to go. So that way I can just kind of see. Again, not exact, just eyeballing it. And put that one just like that. And then we take the backing off. Sorry if you can hear the clinking in the background. My cat has decided, because this is also the cat room, he's decided to come in and finish his dinner. So he's just clanking around. And then we can take some seal. I have my other one over. I always have seal ready to go because it's my favorite adhesive. So I have 2 just hanging out. And we can put this on our Daffodil Delight backing. And then I did add dimensionals. I'll pop these on. I think 5 should do it. An adhesive is also not included in the free card kit. So in the free card kit, for those of you watching the replay, anybody that joined late here, the card kit is free with a $50 purchase in my online store. The link is in the description. And you'll also get a free roll. This is just a sample of it, but a free roll of the Daffodil Delight Satin Ribbon with a $50 order. And I'll also send all the supplies minus anything from the suite to make these cards today. So like the card bases, the Daffodil Delight layers, the basic white, things to die cut with. Now we're going to be using the tiny bee trinkets, and these are tiny. They're teeny teeny. So what I like to do with these, for this card, I use glue dots. You can totally use glue dots, but I learned a little trick recently and I really like it better. So I'm going to put glue right where I want my bees to go. I think 1 there, maybe 1 there, and then maybe 1 up in that gingham. Now, the only thing with this is if you don't like where they are, it's kind of stuck there or you're going to have a sticky spot. So I'm taking the putty end of my take your pick tool. I'm just trimming off some of that putty. And I'm going to pick up a bee and just pop it over that glue, and I'm going to press for a minute. Sometimes it works better too if they're on, like facing the front. Oops. Oop. Just hold it for a second, just to give that adhesive time to stick. Oops, I lost some of the putty. Make sure that bee is on there. And that is it for card number 2. So now we can move on. Let me clean my stamps again, because you guys, I really like to put my hands in these stamps and get covered in ink. And I do not want to transfer that ink onto the card. Those are cleaned off. We can move on now to card number 3. And for this card, I really like this card. This one uses the vellum from the suite, uses basically all the elements from the suite. We're going to be stamping, using the dies, using the stamps, and a brand new product that I am really loving, the mini corrugated 3D embossing folder. If you haven't seen this yet, it is an online exclusive. I'm loving it. I've already used my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine for it. How cool is that? Now you can turn it in the folder. So if I wanted to, let's say, go long ways with it, I could have done that as well. You can turn it. I need that. I love this folder so much, and the vellum is so cool. So I'm going to show you a trick too with the vellum, because you don't want to put adhesive directly behind that because it is vellum. It's see-through. If you put adhesive behind it, you'll see it. One second, I need a sip of water. I do a lot of talking during these lives and I get a little bit parched. So I have all the pieces set aside here. Well, I did. Oh, we're stamping. That's what we're doing. I was like, wait, I don't have the wishing because we need to stamp. So I said at the beginning of the live that you need an E-block for that wishing because it's just a little bit too big for the H block. So let me grab my, oops. Whew. Let me grab my stamp set. Got a little carried away there. Put the lots of love back. I don't think we're using that again. But here's the wishing, and I'll show you the H block and the problem. So that H and the G just hang off a little bit, and you're not going to have an easy time stamping with that. So I put that on an E block. We're going to put the you were here, or any of them really. If you wanted to make a birthday card, you could put the all the best, you well, if somebody's, you know, not feeling great or you're wishing them well. We're going to put the you were here though. Nope, that's all the best. There it is. And we're going to put that on the H block. So for this card, we're going to need the Old Olive and the Daffodil Delight. I'm just going to go that way. Because again, we're going to use the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And if you're just joining us, I do recommend the large, the standard size Stampin' Cut and Emboss if you're just starting out. If you already have a machine and kind of want an extra one, the mini is great for that. That's what I use it for. I use it just as an extra for things like this when I'm, you know, I don't want to lug around the big one on camera. I'm just going to stamp over to the side here. Now we are going to kind of, I'll show you a little trick because I didn't want the whole big long label. Where are my dies? Here they are. So what I did was I kind of lined it up like that. And then you don't want the script for wishing, you want the outline. So we want this one here and those line up. And we're definitely going to need some tape for this one because you don't want them moving around inside the plates, the machine. So what I like to do, and then sometimes I'll even stick them to the back of my hand because that'll give them a little less tack. And so that way they don't stick to the cardstock. We'll do 4 pieces. I think that should be good. I'm going to need to move my stamps. I'll bring the machine in. Isn't it cute? Push those back through so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to line everything up. That looks good from my angle. Again, it's a little bit hard sometimes when you're just sitting. I can't put my head here to look because then you'd see the top of my head and nobody wants to see that. You want to see the pretty cards and colors and not the top of my head. Oops, that didn't even stick to the thing. There we go. I'll put this last one just like this. And this is just so those dies do not move around. Lay that, or you want to make sure your cutting plate is covering all the die cuts. And then, see, it's not going through, so maybe I need to finagle it a little. There it goes. Some people say staggering the plates. That's never worked for me. I've always had to line them up. Run that through. Set those to the side over there and move the machine so you can see what I'm doing. Let's see, hopefully let's not rip the cardstock. Very gently lift that up. So how cool is that? Get rid of this tape. And then we can put, oh, I didn't do the flowers yet. We can't put it together yet. I got to do the flowers. So I'm going to use that same piece of cardstock. And what I'll do, just so we don't have to put the whole thing through, like, I'll just put them that way. I'm going to put away these for now because I'm running out of blocks, you guys. I don't know how many blocks you guys have, but I only have one set and an extra D block. So I'm going to grab these two flowers. And I already have my leaves out. Sorry, putting extra stamps away. So I already have my leaves out. We need the Daffodil Delight and the Old Olive. Open up Old Olive, put that there. Oh, Daffodil Delight. So again, like we did for the first card, yes, the first card, I'm going to ink up the flower, stamp off, and then stamp onto the cardstock. And then we need two of these. And then I can take the middle and just full strength. And I think this is lined up. I don't know. Looks okay to me. Again, I don't know how it's supposed to go, but looks great. Then we need two leaves from the Old Olive. Actually, I think I could fit everything on one piece of basic white. There. Put our ink pads away, and then we're going to have to get the machine again. I just put my finger in Daffodil Delight. Grab the machine again. And we're going to have to do this twice because we have two flowers and two leaves. So we're going to be using this guy here for the leaf, and then this one for the flower. Now there is a certain way it goes, and what I do to get it is I usually just kind of mess with it and see where everything lines up. Sometimes I get it right away, sometimes it takes me a minute. That's not right. Just kind of gotta turn it until you get it where it's supposed to go. Nope, probably already had it. I'll do the one closer to me because it's hard to see again without putting my whole head in the camera. There. This one's a lot easier. And you can put washi tape again. I'm not. I'm going to live on the edge. We're just going to run it through this time. Yeah, one flower, one leaf. And then run it back. Sometimes with that Daffodil Delight, it's such a light yellow when you stamp off like that. It's hard to tell. Over at my countertop behind me is my standard machine, and I have like a spotlight there so I can really see. Again, though, like, it's a handmade card. I don't think any of the recipients are going to go, hey, that flower's uneven. And if they do, I don't know that they're very nice. I've never had anybody complain that a flower was uneven. I'm going to move that again and get our pieces for our card, which are somewhere in the world. We can put our leaves on while I look for them. Oh, it's under the stamp set. I swear, I have this, it's a black hole here. You put things down and I don't know where they go. They just go away. So I'm going to take the bottom part of the leaves where they meet there, and I'm going to press it onto the glue dot, peel it off, and then I stick one on the left side of one of the flower, and then the other one will go on the right side of this flower. Like that, and then we'll add some dimensionals to the back. 1, 2, and then this really cool corrugated folder. Now this is my trick. I put the wishing down first. That way I know where the adhesive, where everything is, and I can hide adhesive. So we're going to take our liquid glue, starting with the W. I'm just kind of tracing with my liquid glue. Oh, and the part of the G is still in there. Pop that guy out. And this fits the whole length of that vellum. Again, all the measurements are on the PDF. When you place a $50 order in my online store, you will get the PDF along with the materials to make all 4 cards for free. So now I'm just tracing again with the liquid glue. And we're going to line this up because it's just as long as that basic white panel. Push it down. And then we can put our flowers on. Put one down there. Renee says she always looks under her left arm, somehow where everything she loses ends up. You know, that's usually what happens to me too, because this is the end of my table over here and everything's to the left, and a lot of times it's under my paper trimmer, which is right over here. So for our sentiment, it's a little crooked. Again, handmade card. I'm just going to snip off that part of the label. And I'm going to grab those mini dimensionals again. We had our celebration after party yesterday, and I swear I kept setting things down and it's never to be seen again. And where did the things go? It was just here. I'm going to line that up all the way to the left. And then I'm going to take this liquid glue to put on a card base, because this is corrugated, right? It's that glue is going to get to all the little nooks and crannies and help this really stick down. Push that down. And then for our embellishment, because I've got to add the bling, I have some of these beautiful antique pearls. There are 3 sizes. There's like a large, medium, and a small. I love these things. I think they're so pretty. I'm actually going to be using them again later this week, because all this week on my blog, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, I'm going to be using the Floral Delight Suite. So I have 3 more cards to show you this week. I'm going to be using these on one of the other ones. So this is card number 3. We're on somehow on our final card. So I'm just getting these organized so I don't lose them, because again, things get lost. So our final card is this one, and this one is pretty, oh, everything's inside of it. This one is pretty simple, pretty straightforward, not a lot going on. We're only going to be using 1 ink color, Daffodil Delight. I've already die cut our label. It's from the Unbounded Love bundles, because we're going to be using the stamp set as well for the happy birthday. I just really thought that font went super well with the paper and the suite. So I pulled in the Unbounded Love bundle, and this is one of my favorite bundles of all time. I need to clean off a stamp though. So I have a block. I've done that too. I've stuck stamps to the bottom of this before. That's why when I take things off now, I like to just put them back. I don't put it down. I put it away. Otherwise, it gets stuck under my Stampin' Scrub or something. So put the happy birthday on. Let's do our stamping first. Again, I didn't do insides for these cards. I will. I'm not a barbarian. I'm not gonna leave them completely blank. But you can totally decorate them. There's like I don't know, maybe do some of these flowers on the inside or the leaves. That would be cool. Or you could even take the designer series paper and just cut a 1/2-inch strip and layer it in there. So that's it for stamping for this card. And here are all our elements. We have our Daffodil Delight card base. And then I'm going to put down a piece of the beautiful designer series. This paper, it really is gorgeous. And I'm not that big of a yellow person. Like, I don't know, I didn't really like yellow before. But this suite changed my mind. Because I remember a couple years ago, one of our ink colors was Bumblebee. And I was like, I don't like Bumblebee. I didn't like that color. So I'm layering this piece onto a piece of Pool Party cardstock. And then we're going to take some of this ribbon again. And I just kind of simply wrapped it around. I just kind of like eyeball it, cut. And then what I like to do, we're sticking this down with dimensional, so don't go crazy with the seal, but I just take a little bit. So that way it just has something to stick to. And then we can grab our dimensionals. And this is a good one if you use the edges of your dimensionals. I use every little bit I can, right? Because this stuff, it's not cheap. So you want to get the most for your money. I take these pieces sometimes, the skeleton of the dimensionals, pop it. Maybe I will take one more, put it there. I'm going to peel these off. They're sticky too, right? I mean, just because they're not perfect dimensional doesn't mean you can't use them. Renee says she's not a fan of the bright yellows. I feel like they blind me, but other yellows, softer on the eye, she likes those. Lemon Lolly is one of those for me, where it's just softer and I like it, but I mean, I don't know, I've never really been a fan of the color yellow until now. I love this suite. I love this paper, even though it is kind of the brighter yellow, but I do love it. This was one of the first ones I was drawn to in the mini catalog. So now for bling, I went a little left field and I grabbed the adhesive back dots for days because Pool Party is in here. Now that looks like it go, and it could very well go. That's crushed curry, though. I'm not a super matchy person, but I really wanted the Pool Party. So we're just going to place a couple of them. I really like that look where they're like doubled up. I think I'm going to do that opposite, though. I'll do it down at the bottom of this card. Like that. I really like how that looks. So that is our 4th card. That is it for projects. Let me bring them back in so you can see them all. So we'll do the one we made. That's card 4. We'll go backwards. Card 3, card 2, and card 1. So I hope you enjoyed this card class. Renee says that she agrees Lemon Lolly is very nice. Linda, very pretty. Thank you, Linda. And if you would like to get this card class for free, simply place a $50 order in my online store and use the host code right here. I will send you all the supplies, minus anything from the suite, inks, adhesives. I'll send you the card bases, the elements, like you'll get that Pool Party, and a free roll of the Daffodil Delight Ribbon. I want to thank you so much for watching. I do card classes once a month, so I hope you will return for my next card class in April. Have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.